Welcome to Asia Rugby Live. We will have more of these live sessions in future, and we think this is a wonderful way to end off a very busy 2024 and take on 2025 as Asia Rugby. Thank you for all your interactions to date. We will be taking your questions from Facebook and YouTube today for this live Q&A with Asia Rugby President Qais Al Dhalai. With no further ado, I would like to welcome CEO of Asia Rugby, Mr. Benjamin van Rooyen, to start us off today.
Thank you very much, Daniela. Thank you to everybody that logged on this 27th of December. So 27th of December, we close to 2025, and as we know, it's always after a 4-year cycle. It's always good to review what have we achieved in the 4 years or 5 years since Mr. Qais got elected. So we've had a very successful 4 or 5 years, despite COVID and so on. So I think we're back on our feet. The questions that I get asked many times is, what's the vision? What's Asia Rugby's vision for 2025 to 2028? So I would like to take that question to our president and just introduce Mr. Qais, our president, and say, we get these questions asked many times, and people say, what's Asia Rugby's vision? Where do you as president, and where do you, as with the support of your exco and council, where do you want to take Asia Rugby in the next 4 years, sir?
Thank you, Ben, and the team for the great opportunity to be in front of public audience. I think before we start our session, I just want to thank all the member unions of Asia Rugby for the great 4 years that we had from 2020 to 2024. I believe it was 4 years with a lot of challenges, especially with the global COVID-19, and then how did we progress towards today, and we resume all the competition, activate all the development activities across the 36 member unions in Asia. So a lot of hard work was done in the past, and then we are looking forward for another successful 4 years. If someone asks about what is it there for Asia Rugby to achieve, actually we have achieved a lot. But just to make it in a simple language, when you lead a sport organization, whether it's rugby or soccer or baseball or any other kind of sport, as a leader, you need to think in a broader way. You need to have a pyramid perspective when you see things in your continent. Asia is a very challenging continent. It's a multi-religion, multi-ethnic, multi-beliefs, multi-mindset. There are a lot of different beliefs across Asia. So for you to be able to bring everyone on the same table and try to accommodate as much as possible from member federations' desire, how would they want to play rugby? Do they want to play 15s? Do they want to play 7s? Do they want to concentrate more on the age group? Do they want to play more senior? So do they want to concentrate more on development and just delay the representative teams? There are a lot of challenges that you as a leader need to overcome, or try to overcome, or at least to reach a middle ground. But as a vision or as a mission for the coming 4 years, I mean, there is a dream that was not happened, or that was not achieved, at least throughout my career with Asia Rugby since 2010. I could not recall any single year when all member unions played in 1 year. So my vision, my dream, and that supersedes any other KPIs or objectives or mission or vision, all those catchy, fancy things. I think the major objective for me as a leader is for all the 36 federations to play in 2025. This is the dream, and this is what we are all working towards achieving it. So
thank you, Mr. President.
now, if there are any questions, because people need to ask questions, and I have answered a lot of questions in social media. So this is a live platform. When everyone has anything to say, I am the main guy here, and I can answer them right away without pre-recorded session or think how to answer. This is the real test for any sport leader to answer public audience.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're going to kick off with the first question, and this question comes from Sudesh Kalupahana. The question came from Twitter X. The question is, Sri Lanka already won the Division 1, so it should be Sri Lanka promoted and Malaysia back to Division 1. That was the decision when Sri Lanka won the Division 1 this year. No need for another match.
Okay, great. Perhaps I was not the president when this was taken as a decision, and this is only sarcastic. So just to reconfirm again, this was never a decision taken by the executive committee, nor the council. It was always, since we inherited this. I mean, when I came to presidency on 19 November 2019, this decision was already taken beforehand. It was always the bottom rank of the championship to play the winner of Division 1 in a one match playoff, and it is at the soil of the bottom of the championship as an advantage of playing at the top 4. So there was no decision that says the winner of Division 1 get promoted directly. This is incorrect, and this is false news.
Mr. President, our next question comes from Falai Mao Sports, also a question from Twitter X. This is regarding Asia, Africa, Europe, and South America. Excellent news. Look forward to seeing this come to fruition. And the question posted is, would there be any scope to include the Pacific nations into this proposal?
So thank you for the question. Basically, the idea that, and this concept came of the table during the Emirates Dubai Sevens 3 weeks ago. So during the Sevens, I had a lot of rugby leaders visiting the event, and 2 of them were Vyacheslav, the Vice President of Rugby Europe, and Sasha Muay Thai, the President of Kenya Rugby. So this is how it started. We were having a conversation on how do we offer a playing opportunity for our countries in 15s. So as everybody knows now, there are 2 international windows. There is a June, July, and November. Those are the 2 international windows, which big teams play during those windows. And then World Rugby Council approved during Rugby World Cup 2023 in France the decision of the Nations Cup. So from 2026, there will be a new tournament called the Nations Cup. The Nations Cup basically consists of 24 teams, the global teams on the ranking from 1st to 24, and they will be divided into 2 divisions. So top 12 will play in a Nations Cup Division 1, and then the next 12 will play in Nations Cup, let's say Tier 2 or Division 2, doesn't matter, but it is covering the 24 global top ranked teams. So the idea, when we discussed during the Emirates Dubai Sevens with Vyacheslav and Sasha, what could we do for the remaining teams in the likes of United Arab Emirates, South Korea, Malaysia, Sri Lanka from Asia, and then when it comes to Africa, teams like Uganda, Kenya, Zimbabwe, and then in South America, teams like Brazil, Paraguay, Colombia, teams in Europe, let's say Spain, Portugal, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, teams in North America like Mexico, Cayman Islands, and Oceania. You talk about the next year, apart from New Zealand, Australia, Fiji, Samoa, Tonga. There are also Solomon Island. There are other teams that would like to play. So this is where the idea came from. Now, what we have done during the last 3 weeks, we had 2 meetings amongst the leaders of the four continents: Asia, Africa, Europe, and South America. And we agreed in principle that this might be a good product to have an event in November 2025. So it will be on the same window as other teams play. And the idea is to have it on a centralized location, probably maybe the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi or Dubai, maybe in Africa, but maybe in Europe. But we did not agree on the location, but it will be on a centralized location. We will start with 1 team from each continent to content it and make it workable, because at the end of the day, you want to release or launch a new product, but there are many factors that will make it a success or a failure. One major success enabler would be the monetary support. That's why we are making it only a 4 teams event in November 2025, hopefully. And we will work towards improving year after year and include teams from North America and Oceania, and maybe in 2026. So this is the idea of having we didn't still name it because still in the initial stage. We're just in the discussion phase, and there are multiple phases we need to go through. We are still in the initial talks, but talks look very positive, and the 4 leaders from the 4 continents are really supporting the concept.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. It really sounds like an exciting project. It sounds like a lot of thought went into it. And we have a question following that. What is the future strategy to help grow the sport in Asia, where we can see Asian nations compete on the same playing field of European and Oceania countries?
Yeah, this is to me a very subjective question. I can easily say, when could we see a North American team play on the same level of Japan, right? When can we see Zambia playing on the same level like Portugal? So, but again, to answer the question, what is the strategy for Asia Rugby to grow the game and make it more competitive in terms of high performance? This is I think what the audience meant by the question. Now in Asia, similar to other continents, there is a Pinnacle 7th event and there is a Pinnacle 15th event. Our Pinnacle 15th event called Asia Rugby Emirates Championship. So we have championship for women, we have championship for men. In the women, there are 3 teams: Japan, Hong Kong, China, and Kazakhstan. Historically, Kazakhstan played in 9 or 7 consecutive Women Rugby World Cup. And now Japan is also playing in the last 2 or 3. So when it comes to being competitive on the global arena, the women's is always there, whether it is 20 years ago or today. Now, when it comes to the men, it's a different story. In the men's, we have Japan, who is one of the top 12, top 13 in the global ranking, and they do not play in Asia Rugby Championship. So in the Asia Rugby Championship men, we have Hong Kong, China, United Arab Emirates, South Korea, and probably Malaysia, Sri Lanka. Historically, those are the 4 teams. How do we improve this? We already started to think outside the box. So in last July, the Hong Kong China men's team toured South America. They played Chile, they played Brazil, and they played Paraguay. This was in last July. And last month, Brazil toured Hong Kong China to play them a 2 test match during the November window. Similarly, the United Arab Emirates hosted Zimbabwe in November, and then Zimbabwe traveled to South Korea to play South Korea. So you look at the at the top 3 teams in Asia, apart from Japan, we already started how do we improve and make them more competent and to prepare them for the next year Rugby World Cup qualifiers. Also, I cannot forget that also the United Arab Emirates hosted Germany also last month in Dubai. So you can see that when you say the top 3 teams in Asia, they are already engaging and experiencing different playing culture with South America, with Africa, with Europe. So I think that the vision is clear, is to keep those teams playing cross-continental and create that special product that we were talking about a few minutes ago and making it a reality in next November to have, maybe we can call it the Continental Cups, something around the line, but we know where are we going, and especially with the World Rugby Council decision, which was taken in May 2024 this year, to have an Asian rugby direct spot for the Rugby World Cup 2027 and the upcoming World Cups. So now Asia has a direct spot. It is open for every team who really want to go to play in the Rugby World Cup in Australia. So the next year, 2025, will be a very exciting year. We have a confirmed playing teams of Hong Kong, China, UAE, and South Korea. We are still waiting for the playoff match between Malaysia and Sri Lanka. Most probably will be happening either at the end of Q1 or early Q2 in 2025, and it will be played in Malaysia as per the decision of council, which was taken many years back. So let's see who wins, Sri Lanka or Malaysia, to join the other 3, and then we will have a normal Asia Rugby Emirates Championship with 4 teams, and the winner goes to Rugby World Cup. Runners up go to the repechage match, one playoff match with Africa 2, and then the winner of the playoff match go to the final qualification event, which will have only one team as a final spot to go to the Rugby World Cup 2027. So the way forward to me is crystal clear. I can't explain it much further than this. It's I think clear to everyone. So let's have the next question, please.
So I think we've actually answered this question. Can we see more places in the Rugby World Cup for Asia for the Asia region? I think we also need to reflect on the fact that we have that direct spot, and I know the president and we've been fighting for that spot for very long. So I think that's one success, but that doesn't close the door on the Asia 2, and as President explained, they will play against Africa 2. So and all of these other games will be in the long run in preparation. So some of these tournaments, some of these games that the president's talked about could actually be in preparation for the next World Cup. So as long as we continue with creating playing opportunities for our teams, for Asia 1, Asia 2. So I think that question has been answered.
I think also to be more realistic, to ask for an additional spot at the time being for the Rugby World Cup is not sensible, and we need to improve our competency when it comes to the top 4 teams or top 5 teams. Maybe for 2031, the Rugby World Cup in the United States of America, or beyond that might be another opportunity. But now we have a confirmed one spot, and we have a 50-50 chance for the rank number 2 in Asia to play rank number 2 in Africa in a one playoff match, and the winner proceeds to the final qualification tournament. And then if Asia Rugby 2 is a good team or deserve to be in the World Cup, they should have easily won the event and qualified to 2027 World Cup.
Thanks for that, Mr. President. We also touched a bit on this, but we have a question from YouTube, Llewellyn Lange, And he's asking, are you guys looking to have some of the higher ranked teams to play more games outside of Asia?
Yes, that what I have just said. We are now helping and assisting our top teams, our top 3 to 4 teams, to play cross-continental and to have an exposure into other playing cultures. You can't always play Asians. I mean, if you don't play other regions, if you don't learn from the mistakes, you won't improve. And that what the Hong Kong China did this year. This is what the United Arab Emirates did. This is what South Korea did when they played different countries. This is exactly what are we trying to do and what we encourage all the top teams to do. Sometimes it became very complicated to find a good opponent, and that when the regional body like Asia Rugby or Rugby Europe or Rugby Africa or South America will try to connect with each other to make things easier for the individual teams, individual federations. And this is what we have done this year, and we will be doing with the new concept that we try to launch in November 2025.
Excellent. Thank you for that. We have another, it's a half question, half a comment to Asia Rugby. This is from Osman Peralta Guzman. And I'm sorry if you already answered, but will the Asian Grand League be played at 2025? I also want to say that you are doing an amazing job at Asia Rugby. Hope you will become World Rugby Manager sometime in the future. Sorry for my English, I am a Spanish speaker.
Okay, thank you, Osman, for the kind words. Much appreciated. When it comes to the Asian Grand League, which was an idea and concept that we launched in 2023, aiming at playing or playing it in 2024. This year it did not happen for financial reason, but we are now engaging with World Rugby. We already engaged with World Rugby, the competition department, and we are trying to explore a feasible resolution to this product to be released in 2025, although I cannot foresee this happening in 2025 because Asia Rugby 15-a-side calendar starts from March until June. And the idea was to play the Asia Rugby Grand League, which is a franchise model. It is something similar to the Super Rugby or URC. The idea is to play the Asia Rugby Grand League pre the international season, so around March and most probably March, early April. So for financial reason, we could not secure proper funding for the Asia Rugby Grand League. So it would not happen in 2025. Hopefully in 2026, we will push for this idea to happen because we believe part of the great success of South America is their Superliga. My colleague, Sebastian Pino, the president of South America Rugby, have done a great job, an assistant of Argentina. And never forget what Argentina did for South America. They are a role model when it comes to contributing. They are also a role model when it comes to giving others from what they have gained over years. And this is what we have seen. It has already proven a success. Superliga started 3 years ago. Today, we can see Chile and Uruguay playing in the top 24, and Chile qualified at the expense of Canada and United States of America to the World Cup. It is a great sentiment on how a major union in a continent work closely with the continental body to encourage the following teams to follow suit and increase their competitiveness. This is a great model in South America. And in additional to what Argentina have done, also the Superliga, they started with 4 franchises. Today they have nearly 8 franchises. So part of the funding comes from sponsors, part of the funding comes from World Rugby, So that's why we are trying to, we have tried to engage with World Rugby with no success. We are continuing to engage with them regarding the Asia Rugby League because we believe that in Asia, it is also beneficial to have this kind of franchise teams model. We can have a franchise team from Hong Kong, China, another franchise team from Malaysia, a third one from United Arab Emirates, a fourth one might be from South Korea, and the fifth one from Sri Lanka, and then maybe Kazakhstan. So the Asia Rugby Grand League as a concept is a great concept, and it is not off the top of my head or a rocket science. It is something that already happened in South America in the Superliga. It happened in the Super Rugby Cup in Rugby Europe. They have teams from Spain, Portugal, Israel, from Czech Republic. So they have those Georgia, Romania. So we're trying to do the same in Asia. Let's hope for the better. In 2026, we will be able to stage this event.
Thank you for that, Mr. President. We have a comment. Natai people will support Asia Rugby and President Qais. Thank you very much for helping develop rugby in Asia.
Thank you, Nat, for the kind words. We always support Thailand rugby. And to me, as a president, this is what I have said from day number one when I was elected. To me, there is no preference for a union over the others. This is when you deal with justice, and everyone has a right to speak. Everyone has one vote. We do not discriminate between Japan, to me, similar to Palestine. Kazakhstan, similar to Hong Kong, China. UAE, similar to Bangladesh. Macau, similar to South Korea. No difference. The 36 federations in Asia are treated equally and with every opportunity to express their views. And my role as a leader is to meet their expectation as much as possible and reach middle ground without compromising the integrity of Asia Rugby. So if there is any nonsensible request, we will reject it right away. If there is something that might benefit everyone, yes, why not? So thank you, Nat, for the comment.
We have a question that pops up on the screen now, and this is from Hafizuddin Ahmad from Facebook. The question came, and it's asking, what's the final venue for Malaysia versus Sri Lanka in April?
I think I have answered this question. The final venue would be Malaysia. So the venue for the playoff match will be in Malaysia, will be played in Malaysia either at the end of Q1 or in the beginning of Q2 of 2025.
Okay, so this is a good question, and this is Llewellyn Lange saying, how can we as fans get involved to help the rugby in Asia grow?
How can we as fans get involved to help?
That's right, as fans to get involved.
So this is you can compare rugby with badminton, you can compare rugby with soccer, with volleyball, with any other sport. Each sport has their own fans, lovers. If a fan loves a specific sport, he or she try to write about it, engage with other fans, engage with the different fans from different countries. This is how fans or individual audience could encourage the sport and make it more popular. Never to forget, we are not soccer, we are not football, we are rugby. And don't forget something that I always say in any seminar, in any conference, rugby as a sport is not a nation-oriented sport. When you look at Asia as a continent, we have a very big sport. We have football. which is number one in the world and number one in Asia. We have cricket. It's a huge, like when you say about, when you look at the India as a country, it's a 1.8 billion people. What is their famous sport? Cricket. And this is something that no one should neglect. So as rugby, still it is an emerging sport in the continent of Asia. But our role as a leader, our role of audience, fans, players, administrator, fans, referees, to spread spread the idea and the concept, spread the mouth about rugby, try to make it a popular sport. Now, when you talk about numbers, we have 36 countries that are members of Asia Rugby that plays rugby. We are trying to reach 40 in the coming 4 years. We try to work with Vietnam, we try to work with Maldives, we try to work with Tajikistan, and we try to work with Kuwait. So still, there is a potential, there is a room for improvement. So I think the fan also have an important and critical role to popularize the sport of rugby, especially that rugby now is also an Olympic sport. So rugby sevens is in the Summer Olympics program from Rio de Janeiro, and it is a core sport. It's not an invitational sport. It is a core sport, and this is what we need to build on. And I think the IOC and World Rugby have done a great job to improve rugby. You can see in the last Olympics Games in Paris this year, I mean, rugby sevens as a competition was one of the most attended sport during the Summer Olympics. It was played at the Stade de France. You can see 80,000 people attending over the both days or 3 days. This is a great sentiment, evidence that rugby is a popular sport in Europe. It is a popular sport in Oceania, but it still needs time to be a popular sport in Asia and Africa. So that's basically how I see it as rugby.
Okay, so the next one is somebody saying it's Chordudi, who says, I've been watching Rugby Sevens and I'm amazed at the improvements with play. I see it's also a great pathway for the 15s game. So I think Chordudi is most probably referring to the fact that that we have 2 women's teams in the HSB 7 series. So yes, it could be seen as a pathway to 15s, but in many of the Asian countries, it is regarded as the pathway to the Olympics, to the Asian Games, and potentially to the world stage. So Chududi is most probably just commenting and say, yeah, I also see that Chile is good at beating the USA. So, Mr. President, I think you would agree with me. There's a lot of surprises coming up in the future with Asian teams just getting better and better and more competitive on the 7th scene.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I agree with the comment. See, in every sport, there are always upset. Who would imagine Germany losing eight goals in one of the soccer World Cup finals? It happened, right? So, and similarly in other sport and in rugby as well. And when you look at the sevens, I mean, sevens in Asia has improved a lot during the last 4 years, despite the global pandemic. Now you can see it's a different generation. Kazakhstan sevens women were always one of the top 3 in Asia, and always play in they played in the Rugby World Cup sevens. They were always playing in the Olympic qualifiers. They played in Monaco in 2021 for the Tokyo Olympics. And similarly in the men, we have also now Hong Kong, China, we have Japan, we have United Arab Emirates ending 2023 and 2022 with the bronze medal 2 years in a row in 7. That's a big surprise, and well done to the UAE in the 7s. Now this year we can see China 7s men coming back stronger. South Korean team a bit slowing this year. In the women's, we have Thailand rugby women improving a lot. Now they have taken the position of what is historically reserved for Kazakhstan. Now we have in the women's sevens, we have China, we have Japan, we have Hong Kong, China, we have Thailand, we have Kazakhstan. So in the sevens arena, it's much easier and much quicker, faster to have a proper generation to play. When it comes to 15, it's a completely different story. 15s is very costly. It takes time, a lot of techniques, a different physiques. So the physicality of the athletes is different than the sevens. So, and that's exactly what the member unions in Asia want. We have done our homework in Asia Rugby. We have done a survey amongst all the 36 federations. I can assure all fans, all audience, that the result of the survey was very clear. 36 out of 36 want to play sevens. Around 10 to 12, or let's say maximum 14, want to play 15s. So just imagine, only 30% to 35% of the total membership of Asia, which are 36 federations, want to play 15s. So it is always impacting the economics of those federations. At the end of the day, I can't, as a president of Asia, go and push Macau to play 15s men's, 15s women, 7s men's, 7s women, 7 age grade under 18, age grade under 20. That is impossible, and it will not happen. So even when you talk about the top teams in Asia, they cannot field teams. Japan, they played in the top 15s men's, top 15s women. They played top 7s men, top 7s women. They did not play this year in the under 20 or under 18, but they play in the under 19 15s. So this is only as an example of how is it so hard and not easy to run a rugby federation and to play all kind of different events across all 7s and 15s in 1 year. So we as Asia Rugby are not pushing the member federation to play everything. Actually, as a president, I don't want them to play everything. I would rather see a certain union focusing on the 7s, be successful on the 7s, and then gradually it will feed up to the 15s. I would like also some other unions to concentrate more on 15s and then reach where they admire to reach, where they inspire, instead of their efforts be scattered over a lot of products, which compromise what a union can achieve for the country.
That's right. So, Mr. President, I just had a look at the chats, and there's a lot of interest, a lot of people who want to play. We got one from Sri Lanka that says, please organize a Tri-Nations tournament every month. So it seems that the appetite is definitely there. I think the next question that's on the screen, it says, I cannot read the name, but I understand it's most probably in Arabic, and said, I want to talk about a bit of politics, and said, as a council member of Asia, I would like to ask, I think the bottom line question is, in the World Rugby Executive Board elections, has Japan voted for you at the elections, given that they have 3 votes in the World Rugby Council? So I think that question comes up about the World Rugby Executive Board elections in November.
Thank you for the question. I think there is nothing to be hidden. Luckily, I was unanimously approved by Asia Rugby Council in June 2024 to run for the Executive Board election in World Rugby. And that was a unanimous vote. Now, when unfortunately I did not make it in at the World Rugby election, which was held on 14 November, Congratulations to my colleague, President of Rugby Africa, Herbert Mensah, who won that specific position, the regional association position in the executive board. Whether Japan voted me or not, I have no idea. It is a secret ballot, and that's the policy at World Rugby, similarly to Asia Rugby. But what I can say and declare that although I have reached out to Japan verbally and in writing, I have not had any verbal or written confirmation that Japan would vote for me. So the simple answer, I have no idea whether Japan voted for me or not. And actually, what has happened has happened. I am a visionary person. I never give up. And I will be working more harder for the coming 4 years to make Asia Rugby a successful organization and to encourage all member unions to take part. And don't forget to make the dream reality in 2025 when I can see all the 36 countries played in Asia Rugby competition.
Thanks for that, Mr. President. We have a question from Rizwan Malik, and that's through Facebook. Is there any plan in Asia to put out a product such as Super Rugby Club Tournament or European Rugby Championship?
Thank you to Rizwan Malik, who is also sitting as Asia Rugby Vice President. So thank you, Rizwan, for this question. Happy to see you again behind the screen. So answering your question, we have already spoken about this a while ago. We have our Asia Rugby Grand League tournament concept, which we were envisaged to stage in 2024. This year, it did not happen. It will not happen in 2025 as well. But as I stated earlier, we are working with World Rugby to secure a proper funding, similarly to what World Rugby has invested in the Super Liga in South America or in the Super Rugby Cup in Europe. We are engaging with them through the executive team led by Ben Van Royan to secure proper funding from World Rugby for us to stage it in 2026, around March 2026, before Asia Rugby Emirates Championship. So yes, definitely the answer is yes. We already came up with this idea 2 years ago. We had our initial meeting in Singapore, which was held in presence of the top 10 countries in Asia. As I recall, the meeting was attended by Japan, by Hong Kong, China, by United Arab Emirates, South Korea, Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Kazakhstan, and Taipei, Chinese Taipei. So the meeting was held in 2023 in Singapore as a kickoff meeting, and everyone agreed it is a brilliant idea and that we will start the first edition with only 4 franchises. And then the next edition will have another 4 franchises for the women. So the idea is there is just to secure proper funding from World Rugby.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for providing so much clarity today on many questions that people had. There's so many questions that we have coming through, and we will look at replying to as many as possible on our social media channels. Thank you for everybody that has posted questions to date. Mr. President, if you have any closing remarks before we close this off, we know we want to do more of these sessions going forth and have this interaction with people out there. But to end of the year and have any closing remarks for today, please.
So thank you, Daniela. Before we conclude, are we still having some other questions, or we answered all of them, or there are still other pending?
I will check on the back line for any more questions if you still have some time that we can go through them, definitely.
If there are any unanswered questions, we would like to close them. If there are no other questions, then I am ready to close the session. And we have another session after the new year, maybe in January. Just could you best please check if there are other questions?
Okay, so
We have
this
some comments as
one
well.
comes as a comment. You can't forget the refs as well. Great efforts. Yeah, I take it. It has come as a comment and as a compliment. I think our match officiating standards have definitely gone up. We have seen some of our top referees officiate in World Rugby competitions. So thank you very much, Dude. Yes, we acknowledge the fact that we're doing a good job and we will do better. Thank you very much.
Yes, sure. They are an integral part of our success. And referee, not only referees, if I will open the door for who are contributing to our sport, there are many. There is the CMOs, the coach of match official, JO, the judicial officer. We have the citing commissioner, the CCs. We have referees. We have coaches. We have volunteers. We have team managers. So we have fans. There are many components that contribute to Asia Rugby. So as a president of Asia Rugby, thank you to everyone who really makes our sport a brilliant sport. And that's why we love our sport.
We have Llewellyn back again, and I think after you just mentioned all the positions that there are in rugby, it doesn't just end with the players on the field. There's so much to do. And clearly, people see the growth, people see where Asia Rugby is going, and people want to work with Rugby Asia. So, Llewellyn is asking, who can I send my CV to if I want to apply for a job in Asia Rugby?
Okay, thank you for this. I take it positively that people, and this is what I felt during the last 4 years as a president, that I have felt and I have seen that there is a great and massive appetite to be involved in Asia Rugby and be accountable. One of the examples, not only answering the question, how could you send your CV? You can send your CV to Asia Rugby through any channel by email, but we have a policy when a vacancy arises. We always announce the vacancy publicly, and we have a nominating and selection panel. So we treat all the openings in Asia Rugby very seriously. And when we select an individual to join the executive team, we select that individual carefully and what that individual could contribute to Asia Rugby and take it to the next level. So in terms of the appetite and people want to be part of the success, is Asia Rugby committees. We used to have 9 committees in the last 4 years. Now we have 14 committees. We have introduced 4 new committees, standing committee. The digital transformations, chaired by the executive member Gerald Prabhu from India. We have created the International Relations Committee, chaired by Iran Rugby President Mir Mahdi Hosseini. We have the Sport for All Committee, chaired by the Joint Secretary General of Bangladesh Rugby Saeed Ahmed. And the 4th one is the Sport and Environment, which is more looking at the sustainable solution, green economy when it comes to sport. And this is also chaired by the president of Sri Lanka, the ex-president of Sri Lanka Rugby, Nalin Da Silva, who is now the point of contact with any rugby-related issues in Sri Lanka. So this is how I felt that there are a great opportunity for people to contribute. Our doors are always open, whether it is for the 36th Federation or any outsider. So thank you for the appetite to work with Asia Rugby.
Thank you very much.
We have a question here. It says, last question. What is your advice to some individuals whom I know very well, in inverted commas, who pushes desperately media people to write baseless allegations about Asia Rugby, aiming at undermining your fantastic efforts?
Okay, thank you for the question. I think as a leader, part of my role is to accept criticism and Accepting positive criticism is always welcomed. If anyone has any criticism about myself as a leader or about my organization, Asia Rugby, he or she always welcome to write to me directly, whether an open domain, public domain, or privately, and I would be very happy to answer them. We are now today on a live platform. I can answer any question they wish to have. But if they tend and opt not to join our live session and prefer to write behind the screens, also good luck to them. I'm here to answer any question they want. And this is for a positive criticism. If it is a negative criticism with more baseless allegation and all fancy stories, some fictional and hypothetical statement, also their good luck, and they can enjoy writing all of this for the coming 4 years as well.
We have a comment that came through that said, we hope to see more interviews like this as it gives a clear vision for a bright future for Rugby Asia.
Thank you, Yusuf. This is, by the way, Yusuf Shakar, the assistant coach of the United Arab Emirates 7th and 15th. Thank you, Yusuf, for the comment. Yes, I think more sport leaders and more sport organization presidents should always face in a live platform the public audience and answer any questions, because to me, personally, I think part of my success that I go into details. If you want to be confident about your work, how do you lead others? You need to be aware of the tiny details. If you don't know details, and if you just stay in your higher position, enjoying handing over trophies and medals to the winners, you will never be a great leader. You will just be on the photos, on the website, on the social media, but it is all, to me, it's a fake. You will be a fake leader. But when you go into the details, you are very confident, you can answer any question. This is when you can go to the next level. And I have an advantage of the age. I was a president of Asia Rugby when I was 36 years old, being the youngest sport president of any sport in Asia. When I decided to stand for presidency election for the first time, it was in 2017. I was still 33 years old. I lost by the casting vote, and I came back in 2029 to win. And now again, I had my second term with the big trust of the 36 federation. So my gratitude to you, Yusuf, and to all 36 federation who have put their trust on me.
Thank you for that, Mr. President. We've covered most of the questions. There were more questions, but a lot of your answers have covered, so we're not going to be repetitive on it. To end off on a bit of a light-hearted note, we have a question that came through, and I think it's a question that many people have in their minds and do want to ask you. What got you introduced to rugby?
What I could introduce to rugby?
No, what got you introduced to rugby? How did you get into rugby?
That's something that everyone is asking me. Actually, and in fact, there is something that many people do not know about me. I have practiced sports since 7 years old. I was a football player in Dubai, one of the leading clubs in Dubai. I played for the United Arab Emirates football national team. I was a very good player. I played for the national team under 15. I played for the national team under 17. I was part of the UAE Olympic team in 2000. And then I got injured on my right knee. I have my rehabilitation and my crucial ligament treatment, reconstruction. And after 1 year only, in 2001, I got another ACL injury on my left knee. So this was a very, very hard moment for me to have 2 ACLs in 2 consecutive years. So based on the doctor's recommendation, I stopped sport. I continued my study. I have a higher diploma in banking and finance. I have bachelor degree in business administration. And then I joined the government. I was an employee in the government in different departments in Dubai Municipality, Dubai Customs, the Road and Transport Authority, until 2009, when there was a government decree, there was a government decision to form the UAE Rugby Association. At that time, it was not a federation. So the government of the UAE is a visionary government. You can see the UAE as a country with only 53, 52 years as an age. It went from complete desert to what you can see in Dubai now, in Abu Dhabi, across the UAE. It is the similarly thing when it comes to sport organization. They try to put individuals who can run a proper administration, but at the same time have a previous or background in sport. So that's why I got involved in rugby in 2009 as a board member of the United Arab Rugby Association. And if you all recall, before the UAE Rugby Association was incepted, there was something called the Arabian Gulf Rugby Football Union. So that Arabian Gulf Rugby Football Union was a body that consists of 6 Gulf countries: Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, and the UAE. And then the late IRB, now World Rugby President, Bernard Lapasse, the French individual, decided to disband the Arabian Gulf Football Rugby Union, and then each country has to have their own body. And this is why I got involved in rugby. And then let me assure you openly that in 2009, I did not even know what is a line out. I didn't know how to pass rugby ball. I don't know what are the rules of the game. And this is an evidence how an individual with zero knowledge, become president of the biggest continent on earth. So this is when you know the details. This is when you are passionate about what you love. Now rugby to me is my life. I give more than 8 hours per day to rugby, more than my family, more than my private work. So to me, rugby is a life to me, and I will continue to do this only to see more generation coming in Asia and around the world that is really loving rugby and playing rugby, and be one day Antoine Dupont, or be John Smith, or be late Juna Lumo. This is what I like to see, and that's my dream. Hopefully, I would be able to achieve it collectively with my executive member and the management of Asia Rugby, also my friends across all the world. I have sport leaders in rugby across all the 6 regions. So it is a great journey. I am very proud of what I have achieved, but still I have more to go and more to achieve.
Thanks for closing with that, Mr. President. We will do more of these in future. You did say we can look at doing one coming in January to kick off 2025. So thank you very much for your time today. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for your passion. And thank you for providing clarity to everybody out there today.
Thank you, Daniela. Thank you, Karam and Benjamin, for organizing this great session. And I'm ready always to answer any question, which I already doing every day. When I receive any question on X or Twitter or Facebook, I answer them right away without even thinking, because I know how to answer them and how to answer them with the correct information. So I wish everyone in Asia, all the rugby fans across the globe, a very happy 2025 new year, and may all your dreams, all your wishes, may all your family are spread with prosperity and peace. May I see more peace in the world and less wars. May I see more people coming together. May I see more humanity across everyone in Asia and in the world. May I see that there is no discrimination in sport. There is no discrimination between white or black, between women and men. May I see this whole world become very ideal. So wish you all the best and happy 2025.